Here we go. Welcome back to the Shiny Minds Show with Dr. Shiny. I am super excited to have Nathan on the Shiny Minds Show today. Welcome, Nathan.
Are you ready to shine? Come on, it's the shiny one. You got this.
Thank you, Shiny. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh my goodness, shininess. What a shiny, brilliant mind that I have on the show today. I cannot wait for this episode. Literally, I'm looking forward to our conversation. For anybody who is watching or listening, would you like to start by sharing how we met, our story?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay. So I would love to hear it from your end. How did we meet and how did we all like come to here?
Well, I think we were both living in Los Angeles I was there from 2017 to 2020, and we were living in the same building.
Yep.
And I remember having hosted like kind of a neighbor get together one evening, and almost everyone had left. And you found out about it. Maybe you were coming back from an event and you showed up kind of at the tail end, but you walked in and like you have such a strong presence.
Oh, that's the
And I was
road.
thinking, well, she seems like a cool person to get to know. And I think we just started talking. It was 2018 maybe, and 2018, 2019,
19,
and
yeah, 19
2019.
when I moved.
And it was just like this organic conversation and like this instant chemistry and
Yeah.
yeah, do you remember that?
I do remember. I also remember Eduardo was with you and I
Yes.
stepped in. You were almost done. I'm like, did I miss the party? But I want to meet you.
Yeah, we were really kind of getting ready to shut it down, but you were there and we're like, well, let's keep it open for another
Uh,
15 minutes.
and then we started talking, and then immediately I found out that you were already a coach.
Yes.
And I'm like,
Yes.
that's what I do.
Yes, and then you said ICF, like you meet a lot of coaches, but not that many that go the ICF path. So then when you said ICF, I was like, wow, she's really in it.
Yeah, legit, legit. And then I remember having that conversation, like I was hooked. My goodness, look at the building that I live in. I actually have like high frequency, high conscious individuals here. I'm so lucky to be meeting these people. And then I was so excited. And then I remember feeling connected right away with both of them.
Yes.
And then we became such good friends after that.
Yes. Yes, it was like I really believe that we have these moments of time in our lives when we're at the right place at the right time. And that was definitely one of those moments because we lived there for 2.5 years. You lived there in that building for what, a year and a half, 2 years. And we were meant to meet. It was really special.
Yeah, it was really, really special. And for those of you who are watching, listening, tuning in, this is actually a great reminder. Where are you at? Who are you surrounded with? And what are you missing in your environment? Are you really connecting to people? Are you really paying attention to the energies around you, right?
Yes. Yes.
That's a very good reminder. So then, Nathan, obviously, let's just properly introduce you to our audience.
I have many roles, Shiny. Which ones do you want to
All of them, all of
focus
them.
on?
The whole you, the whole Nathan.
Do you want
Yeah,
me to start?
yeah, absolutely. I would love to hear how you would love to introduce yourself to the world, what kind of hats you have, and what is your purpose in this lifetime?
Wow. Okay. Why don't start with my purpose, I kind of shift every year, but I mean it's all aligned.
Mhm.
And I have a really great one this year, which is I'm opening new cycles to elevate, transform, and advance.
Ooh,
That's like so I think you and I a few times did like New Year's sort of resolutions together and planning.
Yeah.
So every year I kind of lock into a purpose. So this year it's really around elevating, transforming, and advancing.
Wow.
Last year I was expanding my capacity to enable, empower, and enlighten, which is totally connected to shininess, shiny minds, enlightening, enlightenment.
Right.
So I think, my purpose is really to be a channel
Ooh.
of grace, of love, to serve others, to bring light into the world. And
Ooh.
I know that's yours also. And I think that's why when we met, we really had this cosmic connection.
Yes, cosmic galactic. Ooh, I love that. And then there's like elevation and advancement. That is actually your signature, like your personal signature. That's who you are. Hashtag you can't help it. With everything
Oh,
that I know about you, like from hosting events to leading your team at Oracle to perhaps like you want to talk about that. You want to continue introducing yourself with also your
sure.
professional role.
Yes. Yeah, let me tell. So yes, I've worn a lot of hats in my life, and I think I'll still wear them throughout my life. I don't like to be defined as one thing. But I could say, if people say, what do you do? I can say I'm a coach, I'm a professional coach. PCC ICF coach. I can also say I'm a senior director of finance at Oracle, who I lead a global team of 50 people, 50 plus people, and we do sales compensation planning for um, for all of the sales reps at Oracle. We plan their annual compensation plans and create their quotas and targets and issue their compensation plans. So there's a whole body of work around that. And so that's part of my leadership of a process and then leading a large team of people.
Wow.
Um, and then within my role at Oracle, I've also been able to be a coach and create coaching programs. So that's like a second job within my corporate job. So
Which
that's
will
been
talk a lot.
amazing. Yes, yes.
That
And then if I like even go out from there, I've been an actor, a singer. I love global travel. So there's just like a ton of things that I love. And sometimes at any one point I can focus on one or two or three of them. But I love, like you always say, I love my life. I know you love your life,
yes.
and I want to experience the most of it. And I also want to offer in service to people to help them have better lives.
Oh,
And
wow.
that's why I love what I do. I love coaching. Why I think you and I connect on so many levels.
Oh, so many levels indeed, Nathan. And that is like, there are so many things that you mentioned that I adore about you for who you are, what you bring to the world, and how you show up. And then you embody every single thing that you talk about, your generosity, your contribution, your kindness, your unity mindset, it's just so delicious to have you not only as a friend and now also as part of our Academy of Neuro-Shine
Yes.
Technology, faculty
Co-creators,
trainer.
collaborators. Yes.
And which also brings me back to that conversation we had in Los Angeles, talking about coaching and where you are today, having created an internal coaching program at Oracle. I am just super pumped about it. And I want to just like scream to the world with a megaphone, like what we were able to accomplish together. Because then you also inspired others in the academy, like Erin, as you know. who is also leading an internal but international coaching program at Pfizer. So, would you like to talk about how that actually came to realization, how you were able to create that program at Oracle?
Yes.
Mm.
And I'm so proud of it. It's when I think of the like different accomplishments I've had in my life, this is one I'm really proud of and excited about. I think if I can, I'll go back a little bit in history,
Yeah.
um, because I did my first coaching training in 2003, 2004, in
Good.
the dawn of time in
Yeah.
personal coaching.
What?
Um,
Yeah. What a
so
pioneer.
I got a certification back then, and between like 2004 and 2021, 22, I did about 200 plus hours of coaching. So it's like I had a side business. One year I might have coached 20 or 30 hours. I skipped a year, then I coached. So it was something I always believed in, I always loved, but I never quite knew how I would really manifest it in a bigger way. But
Mhm.
I always knew that it was something that I would at some point. It was
Yeah.
always on my
Yeah.
radar, even if it was just like a small little dot on the radar.
Oh, yeah.
So then when I met you and learned about Neuro-Shine technology and the ICF accredited training programs, I started to go down that path. And then it all started to become clear to me, like it's difficult sometimes for corporate professionals to figure out how to lead a side business and
Yeah.
do their corporate jobs if
Mhm.
it's like in and my job is a pretty substantial one. So I had this breakthrough moment where I was like, why couldn't I do my coaching at Oracle? Why don't I see if I can embed this into my existing role
Yep.
and have it be an extension um, of my role as a broader part of my leadership?
I remember
So
that.
we talked about that. I took your programs, and then it was like, oh, everything felt possible. I was like, I can get to my PCC. I can get my 500 hours. I started talking to someone in organization and talent development at Oracle. I talked to my senior leadership, and it magically all started with a lot of intention,
Ah,
and work. It all started to come together. And in the last 2.5 years, I've coached 50 people within Oracle in three different coaching programs.
wow.
And so I feel like I'm just getting started, but with those 50 people and the nearly 300 hours that I've coached, I was able to surpass my 500 hours I needed for my PCC, PCC credential with ICF,
Mhm.
and along with your expert training programs and guidance in reaching that milestone.
Yes. Oh my God. This is something that I was really looking forward to talk about because I do remember our conversations and I do remember. And then now it is actually a reality that we celebrate. And you actually made such a huge difference. Like, remember, it was just an idea. And that's what I want to actually share with the audience. Like, sometimes your ideas are so big and
Mm.
you doubt yourself. You were like, oh, come on, can I do this? Like, is it really possible? What if it is possible? And Nathan is a great example. I'm getting goosebumps. Like whenever I have goosebumps, like, okay, confirmation. So this is so huge. It's like win, 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 win for everybody in the entire universe, like your ecosystem, everybody that you touched, you coached, those 50 people, more goosebumps. Imagine what kind of transformations that they have experienced through your guidance, through your coaching program inside Oracle. And imagine like what else is possible. So now
Mm.
before we go on, because I like we can take this to all kinds of places. What I would love to ask you so that we can also inspire everybody in their corporate world, in their corporate jobs, is
Yes.
what is the biggest obstacle you faced and how did you
Mm.
overcome it?
Wow, that's a great question.
Yeah.
I think the biggest obstacle is often our own the limitations we place in our own minds.
Um,
So it's sort of the limitations like there's not enough time, who will really believe this is possible, who, and then so I think I first had to get past that,
mm,
my own limit, mind
yeah,
limitations.
right.
And then as I started to sort of go down the path of creating a program, the some of the obstacles are just it takes a little bit of time to develop this, right?
Right.
So patience is a really critical value
Mm,
to hold when trying to do something like this. But I always had I held on to sort of the optimism that it was possible. I talked to people like you who believed in me and believed that it could be possible. And then I just went step by step by step. What's the next step? That's probably one of my biggest, the ways that I challenge myself, the way
mm,
I challenge my teams or anyone. Like if there's an obstacle of getting something accomplished, just think like, even if it seems like way out here, what's the next step I can take?
right.
What's the next step? What's the next step? So there was always a next step, and I just kept taking the next step, even when sometimes there would be a delay or a lag but I I got I think the other thing that is find someone within a if someone else were trying to do this, I would say find someone who believes in you
Oh,
and can help, champion your idea. So, and that's not always a lot of people, but
yeah.
there's often one or two people who believe in you and can help you sort of move that along.
Wow.
Does
That's
that answer your question?
absolutely super precious. Absolutely. First, coach yourself, rewire your own mind and believe in it, and then find perhaps just one person, better if it is
Yes.
two, to also believe in you, internal and external belief. That's what I am
Yes.
hearing from you. Yeah.
Yes. And
Yeah.
then and then just know that sometimes it takes some time. So
Oh,
you
yeah.
have to be patient with in the process, but as the process starts to unfold, even if it's slower than we would like, there's always a next step. And
Yeah.
then there's always a next step
There's
after
always a
that.
next step. Yeah. And then this is something that we always talk about, even as our faculty. As you know, we are the turtles. But we
Yes.
make stuff happen, you know?
Yes.
We do.
Yes, and that was my whole like from 2004 when I got my first coaching certification to getting my PCC credential in 2025, 21 years. It was a slow path, but an intentional path, and I got there.
Yeah, exactly.
So I offer anyone who feels like they're, walking like the turtle, it's okay. Just keep taking the next step.
What a great reminder. I love that. I know, slow but through. You're just going to be super through. Absolutely. Which
Yeah.
actually what like wants me to ask you this question too. Obviously, you were in the world of coaching way before me, and you got your certification 21 years ago. And I would love to ask this question to you. If you remember your first certification program, it's been a while ago, right? If you remember, how was your first learning experience with the first certification program that you did years ago? And how was it with my Neuro-Shine technology coaching certification program? How would you compare them and how Neuro-Shine technology made a difference for you?
Back in that time, everything was over the phone. There was no Zoom or anything. So you can imagine even a remote coaching training program was done on like a conference call.
Oh, wow.
So my coach trainer, a beautiful woman named Joanne, I still really value her teaching and her energy from that time. I didn't meet her in person until like a year after I completed the program.
Oh,
I That was the first time I saw her face because we were back then we were all on conference calls.
okay.
So that was just a logistical difference.
Mm.
I think I mean, there were certainly, it was, that particular program became ICF accredited later, but in that time, I think there was still this sort of question, even with a lot of coaching schools, as to whether the ICF path was valid or not. And then when you finished the program, it was still a little bit of a question mark on how you could get there. And so fast forward to Academy of Neuro-Shine Technology, where you have all the steps laid out.
Mm.
And so anyone who really wants to get credentialed, all of that path is very clear. And you and your team, now I'm part of that team,
Yes.
we support people at every step along the way.
Yes.
Right. So I think that's something that's incredibly different, now from back in the early days when we were all sort of figuring out where to go from where the coaching program went. I think what's also different about your program is you've integrated all these different sort of disciplines and philosophies into it. So you've created a really cool system that's good for both you as the coach and then you as an individual and enriching your own thinking and life. So you're doing like it's like a double
Yeah.
benefit in getting to really think about what's making you a better person, which makes you a better coach, and then also teaching the, coaching, practical coaching methods and principles.
What I always say, I needed something practical because I do have a very critical mind. Like, if I don't have the evidence, if I don't understand, okay, I'm learning this, why? Like, how am I going to apply it? Like, how is it going to change my life? I always like come from that kind of like critical, okay, just like shatter the whole assumption and then give me the like practical thing. If I didn't hear that, I always questioned everything that I have learned in my life. And then that's why I ended up creating something super practical. And I'm so happy that it is actually helping a ton of people now around the world, including my own mother, as you know. So I totally love hearing that. I have another question. I know you have questions for me
I have
too.
a few questions for you too. So
Yes. I'll save my question and please go ahead, share your question. I know what I'm going to ask you. I can wait.
I love that you, as part of your Neuroshine technology, and even beyond the Neuroshine technology, just you and your own life really embody the shiny mind, which you've named yourself, Shiny.
Yes.
And you talk a lot about that. You've become so careful about what you feed your mind, your body.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that. Like, what shifted in you to where you've really, like, I saw a recent post. You said you were TV free. You were,
Oh,
other people opinions free. You were, oh, And you're super careful about everything you put into your mind and body. And maybe you can share a little bit about
Yeah.
why that's so important for you and how it's helped you succeed.
Oh, absolutely. With pleasure. And then I'm glad you're asking this question because it now goes back to the practical side of things, right? It's the way that I rewired my mindset by getting rid of OPOs, which is a part of my Neuro-Shine technology as we teach. OPO stands for other people's opinions. For those of you who are in the audience, other people's opinions. We are conditioned and raised sort of in an environment where we are taught to receive external validation. We're taught to ask permission from others to make decisions for ourselves. And that created this big, huge, enormous false identity that we all have and we need to shatter, actually. And that to me was actually, I had this spark in myself since I was a little girl. I always questioned the system. I always questioned everything. The first time I questioned was when I was 8 years old, when my mom was insisting on something and I was asking her why. And if she was not able to break it down to me, the reason why, I was not convinced. And therefore, I was like, no, not doing that. I remember all that. And so that is actually the first spark of me. Okay, this is an OPO, right? Like in my subconscious mind, why do I need this external thing? My internal compass is telling me another way. And like I kept on collecting these type of experiences throughout my entire life where I didn't know what it was, but I had this inner knowing that was stronger than anything else, including, I'm good getting goosebumps again, including a very critical milestone in my life where I was choosing my degree, my bachelor's degree in my high school. And for those of you, I am actually a valedictorian of my own high school when it comes to my own field. And all these teachers, they were telling me, oh, you're so bright, so brilliant, and go study science. And I'm like, well, no, thank you, because I'm going to study communications. And then they're like,
Mhm.
oh, why are you doing that? Communications and, those social sciences are for people who cannot understand the complications of the science. You have the brilliant mind, you have the shiny mind. Go get that kind of an education. You're going to be great. I know that we took a survey when I was in high school. I know my survey result had 97 point out of 100 that showed me I was super convincing. Like my persuasion score was 97 out of 100.
Wow.
And then I knew that it was something to do with communications.
Mhm.
Whereas my teachers were telling me, no, you should go pursue that way. I'm like, no, I'm going to go that way. Even that, I was like, why are these people not seeing me as who I am with all my strengths and what I am capable of? That was another, to me, OPO, external validation being shattered from the core of it. And throughout my entire life, like one after the other, my corporate career in the advertising and marketing world, and then always questioning myself, my worth, because I didn't feel belong. And then like I kept on questioning myself. And long story short, the way that I created my Neuro-Shine technology, especially with my shiny mind principle, was that, hey, watch out for the OPOs because
Mhm.
it belongs to those people. It's not necessarily your own truth. And we are supposed to live in alignment with our own truth. And that
Yes.
is also why, practically, I don't really buy the OPOs. I don't buy the opinions of others, which comes through social media, which comes through TV, which comes through what we are supposed to be eating outside or what we're supposed to be consuming in terms of our conversations, even. So that's why I'm super tactically careful about what I consume in my system, not only the food, but also the energy. Everything is energy, right? In terms
Yes.
of conversations and information, and obviously food and energy, all that is energy at the end. All is frequency, and it all starts within, and it requires solid inner knowing. And that is what I based my Neuro-Shine technology on. The foundational information is within you. Like the technology for truth is within you. That's why.
Yeah, you just combined your whose truth principle and the shiny mind
Mhm.
principles together. And it sounds like you early on you had a sort of fundamental reckoning within yourself
Yeah,
about living to your own truth and through other people's opinions. And
yeah,
then over time, you just continued to evolve in the practices of what your truth is
yeah.
in on so many different levels.
Yes.
Which is so wonderful when I, reach out to you, whether we're working on, Neuro-Shine technology or we're just talking as friends. I know I can always come to you with an inspirational thought or idea or ask you a question and we go deep, and I'm never just going to have a shallow conversation with you about the news or you know or just
Absolutely.
BS.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, I really want to go so deep. I believe this is what we need even more in today's world, like deepening of our own inner compass. Don't you think?
Mm, yes, yes, absolutely. And and to sort of bring it back to coaching, I think the um all of the principles you bring about listening, like coaching is really a process of listening more than anything. And the active listening and the way that helps us go deep within ourselves, with our clients, with our students. So that's something that I've really benefited from your work and from just the practice of coaching in general.
That is exactly what I was going to ask you. So
Oh,
I can go back to my question, if I may.
psychic connection.
Yes, you see, that's how the universe works. So my question is, because we have majority of our students in the corporate world, and we want to help them if they want to grow personally, professionally, financially, spiritually. And obviously, you being in the corporate world and then leading a large international group, and obviously helping them evolve to their better selves in the corporate world, I was going to ask, what do you see in today's world in 2025? What do you see as the most important mindset shift that has to happen for people who are still in the corporate world?
There's probably more than one answer to that question, but I think helping people to connect with who they really are
Mm,
is a huge shift, because
wow.
so many times in the corporate world we get stuck on our title or our just a certain set of accomplishments, what we do, but underlying that is who we really are.
Yeah.
And I think that when we connect to that, when I said to you earlier, like I'm here to empower and enlighten and enable and
Right.
advance and
Yes.
like that's part of who I really am. Like yes, I do a role. I figure out compensation plans for people and how, like, and all of that's important. It's a process for,
Yeah.
you know, working and making money and, you know,
Mm,
but that's just a part of who we are. So I think when people start to shift in
Mm,
their thinking and in their awareness of who they truly are and who they're becoming and what's really possible, I think that's a transformational shift that we as coaches and light workers
yeah.
can enable.
Love that. I love that so much. We've had this conversation from so many different angles with so many other Academy of Neuro-Shine Technology faculty members on this show, Nathan. Obviously, that is huge. It's that existential part in the wheel of life that we have at the, Neuro-Shine Technology curriculum. At the very core, we have that existential part, like, who are you? Like, why
Yes.
why are you doing what you are doing? Okay, you're the finance director, senior finance director at Oracle. What does that mean? Right? What kind of
Yes.
light are you bringing to your role?
Yes.
And why? What are your tools for that? So let me just also ask you, since we're talking about tools and practical stuff, what is your favorite leadership communication tool that that makes a huge difference in your everyday leadership role, Nathan?
Hmm. I think like emotional intelligence and active listening are really important, like at a higher level. Um, like just like I told you in the process of coaching,
Mhm.
you really learn to listen.
Mm,
And so I think that being able to listen and then go from there
yeah,
versus just coming always with my own preset agenda. That's a huge communication tool.
it is.
There's also a lot, I mean, you have a lot of communication tools you talk about. There's some ones really started to love just on a very practical level. The sandwich model where we use, but and what comes before and after those,
Mm,
like that's been transformational for me in my writing, my business writing. Like when I use the word but, just the concept of starting with the negative and ending with the positive, as opposed to we're conditioned to always end with the negative. So like I catch myself all the time now in the last few years since learning that, to shift my verbal and written communication to end with the positive, end with where do I want to go, not what's wrong with things, but where are we headed? What's the it doesn't mean we shy away from something negative that might have happened or something we need to fix, but the focus is on the positive, and that's been super helpful for me in my at a practical level.
mm. Yeah, I actually 1000% agree with you. And this was something that I also worked on myself when I was practicing my own tools. I actually needed to have that mindset shift. I would go rewrite my emails, my messages, text messages. And it's such a huge shift, although it is such a minor thing to focus on. For those of you who are wondering what we're talking about, like we do have this sandwich model in Neuro-Shine technology. Once once you start a positive sentence, you don't want to follow it with a but because you're ruining it, you're deleting it because but is a negator. You're saying, I love your performance, but trash. Like it's in the trash can now. You don't want to do that, right? And I needed to work on it again and again and again. And now it just like is so loud whenever I listen to somebody, when I hear their butts after the positive statements, I go like that, because it is so important to understand that language is our reprogramming tool as human beings. Why do we have language? We are programming ourselves. How are we programming? Like, look at AI. What do we have? LLM, large language models. Like what are they? A language. Like, break it down, right? What are they doing? Reprogramming. How? Language. So that's why it all comes back to language. And that's why the language that we use is the most fundamental reprogramming tool for us to become our best version. And what you just talked about, the sandwich model, also connects with my fundamental understanding of, hey, live your life in a delicious way, right? Like, you want to end every message in a delicious way. Otherwise, it doesn't work. Otherwise, you are not going to be your most delicious self. And that's why I invite everybody who is in the audience to do perhaps a quick language audit,
Yes. Yes.
right? Like, what are you saying to people?
We want to use our language to expand our possibilities as opposed to limit them. And we're conditioned to limit our possibilities with our language, and our language can do exactly the opposite if we put the right intention and practice behind it to expand the possibilities and to construct and create and evolve. And that's what how we want to use our language. And that's what I love about, your focus on language in Neuro-Shine technology and coaching training and everything we do to shift our language to what's possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too. Because I remember this quote from Napoleon Bonaparte. He says, this was something that I was using in my leadership communication strategies class that I've been teaching at UCLA. I was actually teaching that coming from that perspective, leadership is actually leading people with hope. Like, a leader is a dealer in hope. I guess that was the quote,
I love that one.
right? A dealer in hope. Like, you got to give people hope. That's
Yes.
that's that. Like, hope. A brighter, a shinier world, like possibilities, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Going galactic, here we go.
Yes, here we go. We go galactic.
Woo!
Wow, we've been talking for a while, and Nathan, I believe this, like, dealing with a hope and then giving people some beautiful, bright possibilities to look forward to is a beautiful spot to leave everything like a cherry on top. Do you agree?
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, then I would love to ask, do you have any parting thoughts and messages that you would love to share with our audience?
I think I would, to relate it to some of what we've talked about, I would say to connect with yourself, know your truth.
Yeah.
Coaching is whether as a practitioner or a recipient of coaching, I think it's something that's good for all of us.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
so I might
That's like,
tell someone to hire a coach, um, and really get to where you feel obstacles in your life in getting to where you want to go. Know that you can overcome those,
yes.
and that your truth will show you the way. And it's just kind of clearing past those other people's opinions, OPOs, and limiting beliefs and all of those kind of things. And on the other side of that is, or under it or in it, however it makes sense for you, is your truth that will really take you to where you want to go. And coaching is a process to enable that.
Yes, coaching is the modality that we are all inviting you to experience, everyone. Coaching is the modern way to authenticity. Coaching is today's tool to tap into your truth, especially in our world at the Academy of Neuro-Shine Technology, right? So that's why we are actually inviting anyone to join us. Nathan is one of our faculty trainers. Like, if you would love to learn from him and tap into his wisdom in the corporate world for over 2 decades now, and obviously in the coaching world over 2 decades now, a ton of brilliance, a ton of goodness and shininess that you can actually take in and really like have it in your own heart and share it with the world. Like, that is what we are inviting you. And you can always go to my website and grab that free PDF guide. If you are new to the world of coaching, if you are wondering, I don't know what coaching is, like, do I need a coach? Do I need to work with a coach, or do I want to become a coach, and why? If you have all these questions, totally understandable. Go grab the free PDF guide, and that can be your step, the first step. And then after that, you can just like connect with us, right, Nathan?
I think you and I are teaching a cohort together in September, so it would be so fun for anyone watching to join our cohort.
Absolutely. Please join us. We are going to do our absolute best to have you tap into your own truth and then find out your own gifts, your own strengths, and your own cosmic brilliance that you carry within, right, Nathan?
Yes, absolutely.
That is that is what we bring to the table. And please share this. If you like this episode, share it, put a like on it, subscribe for more episodes just like this. We are hashtag on a mission so that together we can co-create a brighter world together. So thank you,
Mm.
Nathan, for
Thank you, Shiny.
it was so delicious, super delicious.
So delicious, so fun.
And then thank you, everybody, dear shiny minds. And until next time, keep shining your light. Bye bye.
Go galactic. Go galactic. Go galactic. Then you're in the right place. Let's go, let's go.